Hi there, Miranda Alt here with Keller Williams Success Real Estate and the Miranda Alt team with your Monday market update for Monday, October 23rd, 2023. Thanks so much for watching. I'm here in my new office space at my office in Barrington, so hopefully you like the new decor. Of course, Barbie pink, and then of course, Charge the Storm with our buffalo. So this is where I'll be bringing you all of your Monday market updates from here on out. Taking a quick look at our Monday statistics for the last 7 days for McHenry County. We had 116 new listings, 101 under contract, 100 closed sales, 33 price changes, 2 expired, and 37 currently on the private network. So as we know, there's just less transactions happening. There's less homes going on the market. There's less buyers in the market. We still have very tight inventory. So even though there are buyers pulling out of the market due to the 8% interest rates, we do still see that there is very low inventory because we still have less sellers. So less sellers, less buyers. The inventory is the absorption rate. So I've talked about this many times. We measure our inventory and how many months it would take to sell out of whatever is currently listed if nothing else gets listed. Well, that number is still very tight because though we have fewer buyers in the market, we have much fewer sellers. 100 closed sales for a 7-day period in October is very, very low. We'll sell 4 million homes nationwide this year, which is about 1 million less than last year and 1 million less than the year before. It's respectable. It's still 4 million homes. It's a lot of transactions, but it's not as many as we've had in a good year. So it's a slow year for the real estate industry. No shocker there. Most homeowners are locked in at 5% or below. A lot are locked in at 4% or below on their interest rates. So they're not really moving unless they have to. So let's talk about those motivated people. Those are the people that are still participating in the mortgage or in the housing industry. So those people who are first-time home buyers, we still have first-time home buyers coming out in droves. People who have been renting or people who are still living with mom and dad, those people want to have their own home. So those people are very heavily motivated. We also have people who want to downsize. That's a motivated population. We have people who are getting divorced, people who are getting married, having babies. And we also have people who've just decided that they just want a bigger house or they want, a different house. They want that new kitchen that they've always dreamed of and they don't want to do the construction. We still have motivated buyers. So it's more about a pain point that we're talking about right now. How badly do you want to move? And those people are still participating in the real estate market for a couple of reasons. A big issue, obviously, is affordability. Rates are at 8%. So the same house, so let's call a $400,000 house, if you bought it at 2% or 3% interest rate 2 years ago, that house now, the same exact house will cost you about $1,000 more per month at 8%. Now, there's a lot of people saying, oh, there's going to be a crash. We're going to wait for a crash. We're going to wait for prices to come down. We're going to wait for interest rates to come down. All of this waiting is probably going to prove to be very fruitless. Prices are not likely to come down. Now, of course, anything can happen. I don't ever want to say that I know more than anybody else, but the likelihood of prices coming down is very slim due to tight inventory. The likelihood of a crash is almost none due to the fact that there's very little inventory to choose from. So when we have low inventory and we have prices going up, that's just natural economics. So anybody that's going to be sitting on the sidelines is probably going to end up paying more in the long run. Now let's talk a little bit about affordability. We can get creative with financing. Those are one of the things that we're talking about a lot in the real estate industry right now. We're talking about seller financing. Some people own their houses outright. If you own your home outright and you want to be the bank, there's a lot of money to be made. You don't have to offer 2% interest rate, but man, if you offered 6% to a buyer, you are going to still make a lot of money. And that buyer is going to be very attracted to your listing because you are offering a lower interest rate than they can get from a bank. So seller financing is an option. Family financing, if your family has money and wants to loan you the money, you pay them 5%, 6% interest rate, they're still going to make a great investment and you're going to get a better rate than if you were to go to a bank. We've got assumable loans. That's possible in some cases. Also the new construction loans. So a lot of the builders, Lennar, Ryan Homes, all those homes, a lot of them are offering a lower interest rate to buyers in order to attract them. And they're just taking that out of their profits that they're going to make. So a lot of first-time home buyers, they go to a new builder, a builder of a new home, and you have to go through their lender. but you end up getting a great rate. A lot of times they're throwing in closing costs. They're doing $7,500 credits at closing. They're doing all kinds of things in order to attract buyers to the new builds, even though those are typically a little bit more expensive. But if you've got a great rate, it's worth it. There's also the 2-to-1 buy down that's offered by lenders. You can buy down your rate for 2 years, 2 points for the first year and 1 point for the second year. It costs about $10,000. Sometimes you can get the seller to pay for that. So there's a lot of different ways that we can buy down the rates, or we can do creative financing to make homes a bit more affordable. There are 3 potential scenarios that we're looking at with buyers. A lot of buyers are saying, I'm gonna wait till next year. I'm gonna wait till rates come down. I'm gonna wait till prices come down. We talked about the likelihood of prices coming down is not high. There's very, very low likelihood that prices will actually come down. So I just don't see a scenario where that happens. Anytime you have high demand and low supply, prices are gonna go up. That's not likely to change. So the 3 scenarios that we can talk about in a volatile inflation market, one is interest rates go up. That is definitely a possibility. Interest rates could still go up, and then you're gonna miss out on 8%, which I know sounds crazy, but you have to remember that 8% is historically average for rates. 8% feels really high because it's the highest that it's been in decades, but we were really low for way too long. So interest rates were way too low for way too long. That's why they are higher now. So there is a chance that rates could continue to go up. You have to realize that that is definitely a possibility. If interest rates get to 9%, you're gonna be real pissed you didn't lock in at 8. Another potential scenario is that rates stay flat, in which case, would you rather get in a house sooner than later? If you're already looking at a house and the rates stay the same, I mean, how long do you want to tolerate sitting around waiting for rates to come down, and then they don't come down, and then you're like, shoot, I should have bought it 3 months ago. And the likelihood is prices will continue to go up. That's another thing. The third scenario is that rates come down and all of those fence sitters, people who are waiting for next year, they're all going to return to the market. Then we're going to have a feeding frenzy and prices are going to skyrocket. So the home is going to get more expensive. The rate will be lower. However, don't you wish that you bought that same house for less money now at 8% and then you refinanced? Because then you've got the house that you want and you've got the rate that you want. So those are things that all buyers out there have to consider. A crash is unlikely. Supply is the tightest that it's been since the 80s, because I know I've heard people saying, well, I'm going to wait because if there's a crash and if prices come down, I don't want to buy now and then have values decline. It's extremely unlikely that prices are going to come down. There's just not a whole lot of economists out there at all, actually none that I know of, that are saying that they think prices are going to come down. This is painful, it's constrained, but there are no factors that would indicate a crash. I know that it's painful. I'm in the same scenario right now. I'm not looking at buying a new house, but I'm looking at buying a new car. We have 3 cars. One of them is reliable, 2 of them are less reliable, and we are likely gonna have to buy a new car. The interest rate that I have for my current car, the only car that I have a payment on, the other 2 are paid off. The one that I have the payment on is at a 2% interest rate for my car. It's amazing. I am looking at buying a car at the exact same price, but paying a much higher interest rate, and the payment will be double. That is painful. So I feel you. If you are a buyer right now, I understand the pain. I know it's not on the same level, but I do feel you that it is on the same level. Now, I could look at getting a less expensive car. I could look at getting something really affordable, but I really like nice cars. I really like driving a nice car. So you're kind of in the same situation if you're a buyer of a home. You've got to think about your pain point. How badly do you want to move? How much do you want that extra space for your growing family? How much do you want to downsize and have less to maintain? How much do you really want to get that other job that is in another state or another town, or you want to be closer to work, or whatever it is that's motivating you to move? How bad is that pain point? And that's kind of what that's kind of where buyers have to come to, is how much do I want to tolerate? Because the likelihood of it getting cheaper, more affordable, it's just not there. The likelihood of prices coming down, it's just not there. The crash, it's probably not going to happen. So how long are you going to wait and be in this pain point that you're in? Those of you that are motivated to move. Those of you that aren't motivated to move, like me, I'm not motivated to move at all. It's irrelevant. It doesn't matter. You're not, the federal government doesn't need you to sell your house. So you're sort of a moot factor in this equation. But for those of you that are motivated to move and you're thinking about waiting, I don't know what you're waiting for. It's probably just going to get more expensive. Another thing to think about is if you're waiting till spring is likely to be a very competitive market. I have a lot of buyers that I've been talking to, and they've said, well, we want to wait till there's more inventory. I understand that. However, when there's more inventory, you have to realize it's going to get more competitive. The spring will be very competitive. It will be very hard to get a home under contract again. We're going to see multiple offers go crazy. We still are seeing some multiple offers and some bidding wars, not as extreme as it was in previous months, but we are still seeing them. So the likelihood of those being more difficult to manage and navigate in the spring is very high, something you want to think about. I'm Miranda Alt with Keller Williams Success Real Estate and the Miranda Alt team. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any other questions, please, as always, reach out to me here on social media. You can always call me, text me. I'm at 815-529-0777. Or I'm also having an investor seminar this Wednesday at Duke's Ale House at 6 p.m. in Crystal Lake, talking all about investing in real estate, what that looks like, how to get started, how the financing works, how to get a good tenant. We're going to go over all of those things on Wednesday night at 6 p.m. at Duke's Ale House in Kitchen in Crystal Lake. Hope to see you there. Please RSVP if you plan on coming. Have a great rest of your day. Thanks for watching. Bye.